Can I interest you in a gamer girlfriend? This video contains the often overlooked secret method that guarantees success in the dating field, berating and destroying your potential partner into submission via tense debate. But what's even better than picking up chicks? Picking up dice. Sponsor time. WYRMWOOD is one of, if not the highest quality producer of tabletop accessories in the game right now. And they're teaming up with Dispel to create some more clawsome goodies. So basically, I'm a crab. I thrive in nature, which is why I'm first in line for WYRMWOOD's new project, the Elemental Collection. This limited edition, luxury collaboration highlights the beauty of the elements and the naturally occurring wonders of the world. The campaign features 6 primary natural elemental themes: fire, foliage, geode, lightning, freaking outer space, and my personal favorite, water. They also offer 2 dice colorways and 2 dice vaults to choose from per element. With iconic dice, iridescent dice, and both cherry and ebony dice vaults, there is so much to love here. But with all great things, there's a catch. The Kickstarter will only be available for 12 days. So throw this video on in the background and go check out the new Kickstarter. See you there. Roll post. Before I start this story, it needs to be said that I really hate being touched by others. No matter in what kind of situation, physical contact stresses me out a lot. My friends usually know this and respect it most of the time. Alright, enough said, and let's move on to the story. I was 16 at that time and fairly new to TTRPGs. I've never played any system before and wasn't even really interested in TTRPGs at first. This changed when 5 of my friends, including my best friend, formed a D&D group. They all played before, so there seemed to be no issues. Sometimes when I met with my best friend, she told me how much fun it was playing with this group and told me some of the adventures their characters went through. This kind of sparked my interest for the game, and after a few months, a player had to drop out due to him moving to the other side of the country. It was then when my best friend invited me to join them to fill up their group to 4 players again. This brings us to the participants of this story. Paladin, chill dude. Wizard, my best friend. Warlock, the problem. And then there is me. I played a chaotic good rogue noble. It was pretty much a self-insert character. Since I've been fencing myself since I was 9, I've made her fight with rapiers so that I could describe my actions in combat more realistically and even challenge NPCs to a proper duel. The DM helped me create this character, and we figured out a backstory together that was fitting and would directly integrate me in the story and therefore in the party as well. So my first session rolled around and honestly, it was a blast. I had a ton of fun and the vibe was great. All the players and the DM were patient with me getting to know the rules and learning what I can and can't do. The DM also lent me a set of dice for this session. I got my own set very soon after that. Our DM was generally a real gem. He had his own very interesting homebrew world with fleshed out politics and history, and was an amazing storyteller. He was able to make me really invested in our quest to defeat the false emperor that rules the kingdom with an iron fist. I know what you're thinking. Wow, what a nice way to introduce someone to the game. Maybe this story even sounds familiar to yours. But this is where the good times end. From here out, we're officially in the danger zone. So sit tight, get tense, grit those teeth, and let's get into the pain. Then, after a month of playing, the first small issue came up. The DM's parents got another child, and since we played at his home, it got more chaotic and noisy. That would not have been a problem for most players, but the DM felt a bit embarrassed that his game would often be interrupted by his baby sister who would scream her lungs out. So he asked if any of us could host our weekly sessions, and I proposed that we could use my home. Since my family is fairly wealthy, we live in a relatively large house with a nice living room that is almost perfect for playing D&D. You can dim the lights to create a fitting atmosphere, light up the fireplace and play music over the surround sound speakers. Another bonus for me was that I had fencing and practice on that day. We had our weekly sessions, and now I didn't need to drive home first to shower and get changed, and then drive through town to get to the DM's house. So we were able to start even earlier. Looking back at it, that's when the first red flag showed up. Due to me sometimes practicing longer, especially before an upcoming tournament, my friends would sometimes arrive earlier than me, but that was no big deal. They knew my parents and they let my friends in. Since we usually talk a lot before sessions, it gave them a chance to start doing that while I was on my way. In this specific instance, I arrived around 10 minutes after my friends at home. I said hi to them, grabbed my clothes from my room, and headed to the shower. Unfortunately, I can't shower at practice, and I don't want to smell like sweat when we sit close together for a few hours. While my friends discussed something I don't quite remember, but I think it was about dual wielding in D&D. While standing in the shower, I heard a knock at the door. Me, turning off the shower, assuming it's my mom or my dad. Yeah, what's up? Warlock. Hey, can I come in for a second? Me, very surprised. No, I'm in the shower, dude. Please, I won't look, I promise. I only want to grab my phone. My heart was racing at this point, hoping that I didn't forget to lock the door. To his credit, his phone was actually there. He must have forgotten it while using the toilet, I guess. Me, no, I'll give it to you once I'm out, okay? But I need to prove something to DM really quick. Then just use Wizard or Paladin's phone for a second. I really don't want you to come in right now, okay? Fine. And then he left. At least I think so, and I finished my shower, grabbing his phone, and joined the rest at our table. We played the session with no comment of what just happened earlier. It was still a very fun session though. But then I slowly noticed Warlock flirting with my rogue in the game. Nothing really to worry about, right? I mean, they spend lots of time together before and kind of have the same background of nobles who fled their families because their families supported the evil emperor. So naturally, I was not bothered by that, especially since he hasn't directly flirted with me, so I assumed it was only roleplay. Romance between party members is really cool, honestly. However, it can get messy really quickly and lead to a lot of confusion if it's not discussed with the player you're shooting at beforehand. It's unsexy, but if you're playing with someone who just joined your group, let alone brand new to the game, this is definitely something you run by them to make sure that they are completely comfortable. However, we'll soon learn that OP's wishes were not exactly one of Warlock's priorities. Roll post. Since we were friends outside of the game and he didn't come across as creepy before, the shower incident aside, I naturally felt like there was nothing wrong with it, so I decided my rogue might start to flirt back. I have to make something clear though. Outside of the game, I'm actually gay. I wasn't outed to most of my friends yet, only my parents and my best friend knew so far. Therefore, I decided to make my character straight so that I wouldn't accidentally out myself. I know it's silly, but I feared that if my character was a lesbian, everyone would know I'm a lesbian as well. So naturally, my rogue and his warlock started to fall in love with each other over the span of 2 months. It was built up really well, so I didn't really think anything about it as being weird, and everybody else at the table thought so too. But then, the fateful day arrived. I received a text from Warlock in the morning asking me if it would be okay if our characters could be an official couple. I said sure, sounds good, and moved on with my day. I didn't sleep too well that night, had a hard day at school, and a very exhausting practice in the afternoon. Therefore, I was really tired once we started playing. Fortunately, our DM's passionate storytelling made me stay awake during the session, but I noticed that Warlock sat closer than usual. It kinda made me uncomfortable due to my fear of being touched, but I didn't say anything to not cause any complications. The session went well, and my character and Warlock's character had their first kiss, and confessed their feelings for each other. It was honestly kind of cute. But then the session came to an end. We usually keep talking after our sessions about other stuff, sometimes even watching TV or playing video games. But the couch was just too comfy at that moment and I was too tired to keep up a conversation. So naturally, without even wanting to, I dozed off. Then I felt something heavy on my right shoulder. I woke up almost immediately, sensing that something was off. Warlock had rested his head on my right shoulder. He knew exactly that I hate physical contact and that it would scare me. I kinda panicked and made a sudden move to the left side to get him off me. Me. Get off and don't touch me. Chill out, it's just me. I was at a loss for words. Once he was off of me, I stood up and saw that Wizard also did the same. So naturally, I looked in her direction looking for help, and I could also see movement from DM and Paladin. Wizard. Bro, you know it's a no-go for her, don't you? Yeah, I know, but we're dating, so it's fine, right? No, it is not fine. You are not dating. I don't know what the hell's gotta be wrong in your head for you to even think that, but immediately conflating our characters are dating in-game to we're almost at first base in real life is gross. I don't think it's even possible to make that kind of jump without knowing that you're making a huge reach deliberately. The rest of the story is just going to be Warlock progressively digging a deeper hole and failing to climb out of it. Rule post. He grinned at me while I was still unable to speak, and then he stood up. So he, again, was really close to me. This all happened so fast, and it still feels like a trance to me. But he leaned in for a kiss. This immediately triggered my fight or flight response, and I was pushing him while screaming. My brain was not able to create proper English sentences, so Norwegian was all I could scream at Warlock. I didn't mean to push him that hard, but he landed back on the couch while I panicked, still screaming in Norwegian, while Wizard stepped in and managed to get between me and Warlock without touching me. I still thank her for that because I'm afraid I would have pushed her too. Paladin tried to calm me down by rushing over and talking to me, saying that it'll all be okay or something like that. It soon escalated into a screaming match between Wizard and Warlock where she accidentally outed me in the process. This led to my father coming downstairs, wondering what all the screaming was about. As soon as I saw him, I rushed over to him and fell into his arms. My family is the only exception to my hatred of being touched. I don't know myself why that is. DM and Paladin also came over and tried to explain to my dad what happened, while Wizard and Warlock were still screaming at each other. My dad did not hesitate and told Warlock to get out of the house. Warlock tried to argue that it was bullshit and that I was his girlfriend, but my dad, who knew about my sexuality, was having none of it. What is the end game here? You can't Ben Shapiro your way out of being a creep.
Actually, it's fine. It doesn't matter what your daughter wants because she's my property now, you imbecile. She implicitly permitted it in the D&D game.
Bro, shut up, nerd. Also, shout out to everyone else for being really supportive of OP, but that will not undo the damage that's about to get dealt. Roll post. My dad repeatedly told him to get out. Warlock did so eventually, and my dad and friends managed to calm me down. Nobody really knew what to say at this point, and DM and Paladin left soon after. Wizard stayed the night to make sure I'm alright, and my dad called my mom to come home as well. My parents and Wizard managed to make me feel better during the evening, and having Wizard stay the night definitely helped me get over it. There was some arguing in our group chat, but I haven't looked at it. I just know that Warlock got kicked from the chat because Wizard told me, but that was not the end. The very next morning, Warlock texted me. He sent multiple texts saying how it was bullshit that I led him on and even telling him that we were official. I told him that I never said that and that we were only talking about our characters. He replied that I was clearly playing myself in this campaign and that my character is practically myself, so there is no difference. The Wizard, who was still with me, took my phone after seeing how much this affects me, so the chat pretty much ended for now. Luckily, it was the weekend and I didn't need to see Warlock at school, so Wizard and I spent the morning together until she had to leave for an appointment, but told me to text her if I needed her. She gave my phone back, and when I checked the messages, I saw multiple unread texts from Warlock. He basically told me that I can't be gay since my character isn't gay, and that my fear of being touched is just made up so I have an excuse to be extra dramatic. As proof, he sent me a picture of how I hugged my dad during this fateful evening. This is the...
Yes. After masterfully dismantling your buffoonish wants and needs in the form of tense debate, you realize how stupid you look. Henceforth, you must concede the point of not being my girlfriend to remain logically consistent. Game, set, match.
This is how debate bro YouTubers get girlfriends. I also love how OP's character is literally just her, but only when it's convenient for Warlock. When something important like orientation comes up, then all of a sudden it's time to separate the character from the player a little bit. I normally give kids and teenagers kind of a pass, but at this point there's no bouncing back from this. There's no He also said it's my fault that the DM kicked him from the group and that the wizard hates him now. That my friends aren't real and I should accept that I'm just a drama queen who wants all the attention. He was there in the group way before me and I had no right to stay if he got kicked out because I was to blame. I had no idea what to say, so I just screenshotted the conversation and sent it to the DM and wizard. The DM promised to take care of it, while the wizard started ranting about how much she wants to punch him. Well, the DM definitely took care of it. I don't even know what he said to Warlock, but he didn't text me this entire weekend. On Monday, he tried to talk to me personally, but Wizard stepped in and told him to go F himself. He tried it again a few days later, but I pretended he wasn't there, and as soon as he saw Wizard coming towards him, he gave up and left. I also finally blocked him that day on all social media. We tried to continue the game without Warlock, but it was just weird to pretend nothing happened and move on. I got some petty revenge since DM killed off his character by being hugged to death by some hostile tree creature, but that was basically everything we were able to achieve. We ended this game after, and I decided to start a completely new game where I made sure to not create a self-insert character, and rather play a male Dragonborn fighter. He still wields a rapier, sorry not sorry. This game is still going and we're all having a blast, and the phrase, "we're dating so it's okay," has become an inside joke whenever someone accidentally breaks the rules or is metagaming and is called out. I love hearing about problem people becoming inside jokes and reclaiming the problem player's behavior for fun. It happens surprisingly often and I love it every time. Anyways, the story's just about over, roll it. He also isn't your typical neckbeard or anything, just a normal dude. He had a girlfriend before and hasn't done anything else you would consider creepy, so I don't know why or how he switched from being a friend to being creepy and gaslighting. Sorry for being wrong in the intro. I was certain it would work. Why wouldn't it work? This is just a rare occurrence, obviously. Better luck next time. Peace.